Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. My name is Bill Hyman. I'm the Executive Director of the Independent Cattlemen's Association. We are a cattle association with over 8,000 members across the state of Texas. We're headquartered in Lockhart, and I'm from Gonzales. The Independent Cattlemen's Association of Texas is opposed to the Post Oak Solid Waste Landfill Permit Application number 2378. Although we recognize the need for a safe disposal sites for municipal waste, the proposed site is located on the outcrop of the Upper Wilcox Formation and Aquifer. The Wilcox Aquifer provides water for many rural residents and ranchers in Caldwell, Guadalupe, and Gonzales counties. Additionally, the proposed site is very near the outcrop of the Carrizo Aquifer, which provides a safe drinking water supply for our Central Texas residents, including the cities of San Antonio, Church, and Seguin. Many water districts in the affected area have already taken positions opposing the Post Oak landfill. Even the commissioners of Guadalupe County and the city of Seguin have voted to oppose the above-mentioned landfill. The possibility of contamination to the Wilcox Aquifer and to the Carrizo Aquifer would result in a disaster of immeasurable proportion. The threat of such an economic and health catastrophe is not acceptable. The continuing drought has shown all Texans that we must vigilantly stand guard over our resources of safe water. Now is not the time to risk our water supply to a clay liner that can deteriorate, a fabric liner that can be torn, and a promise from Post Oak Green. Thank you, and stop the Post Oak dump.
Thank you. Jesse Weinaug, or Weinaug. Nancy Masterson, followed by Juan Solis.
My name is Nancy Masterson, and I'm a homeowner in Guadalupe County. I'm an amateur. I'm just a citizen, and I recognize that I live in one of the fastest growing counties in Texas and in the U.S. They tell us that our population could double by 2050. We see on the east side of our county the spreading rooftops, and we look at the western part of our county to preserve our natural land heritage. We see that the counties around us, like Comal, has developed a conservation plan to preserve land, receiving grants of $600,000. We see Kendall County preserving a new park of 450 acres. We see Hayes receiving a grant for $715,000 for conservation. Our county is now becoming aware of the need to preserve our natural land heritage. I'm a member of our first ever Master Naturalist class in partnership with the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. In last night's class, in Tuesday night's class, the GPRA engineer taught us about the Carrizo Wilcox Aquifer and how shallow it truly is. Its fresh water ranges from the surface to only 1,000 feet, and it's brackish water below that. It's a very shallow, precious aquifer that provides our drinking water for so many people. I urge the Commission to protect our water supply, to protect our aquifer, and deny this application. Thank you.
Thank you. Juan Solis, followed by Chris Iote, followed by John Thorson.
I'm not a very polished speaker, as you can tell. But please think of all the people that will be hurt if there is an accident. You're engineers, we trust you, but it's man-made. Nothing man-made is perfect. People work this dump. They create problems. You know that. Your job is to give a permit. This is not a permit issue. It's about people and their water. It's important for us to continue to have a good water supply. There are many areas in this that are in really in a drought-stricken mess, and now you're taking a chance to contaminate a good drinking water supply. Please reconsider. If you can, do not allow this to happen. Thank you.
Could you state your name for the record?
Oh, I'm sorry, Monsolis.
Thank you. Chris Ayotte, or Ayotte? Okay. Followed by John Thorson, followed by Patrick Lindner.
My name is Chris Ayotte. My wife Nancy and I own property directly across the street, Nixon Road and Dix Road. This is Emma. She drinks the water down there every day. She lives there in the house we've worked on down there for her. I just wanted y'all to see this is the grandbabies we're talking about. Y'all need to be aware of that. Man, that was kind of spur of the moment. We appreciate y'all being here, just like everybody else has said. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of stuff. In October of 1998, I started working on this property full-time. And most of you are aware that was the year it flooded so badly in Guadalupe County. We got like 20 inches of rain. My first job was to clean up trash and debris and to repair a whole lot of fence. That water came directly from the site that y'all want to put a dump on. It may not have started there, but it went through there, went through Mr. Wood's place as we talked earlier. It came right onto my place, went right down my road, right through my property, 2 sections of my property. About 4 years later, it happened again, same thing. That's their 20-year floodplain. It happened within 4 years of each other. If it were to happen now, or if it would happen after you put this dump in, I would hate to see what kind of trash and dump and junk that would come through my property and down and flow down into the Guadalupe River. You can tell us how safe it is. You can reiterate how good this lining is, but when Mother Nature strikes, there's not much anybody's going to be able to do about it. And weather isn't the only aspect of nature to be concerned about. What effect will the dump have on local agriculture and wildlife? How will wildlife be prevented from accessing the trash on the site and possibly spreading disease to farm animals, both pets and animals raised for livestock? You've heard from many concerned community groups, and I've got them all listed here, but everybody said it over and over: the Guadalupe County Commissioners Court, City of Seguin. One that didn't get mentioned was Guadalupe County Farm Bureau, who was also came out against the dump, Independent Cattle Raisers Association, and our politicians that have spoken. It would seem now that TCEQ would know and would realize that the Post Oak dump property owners who aren't here have absolutely no experience and no background to manage a disposal site. Certainly they do not have the expertise to protect the water source that so many people rely on. It just seems to me that it's crazy that you would put a dump over any aquifer. The Post Oak dump property owners who aren't here inherited this property the same way my wife and I did. We spent years trying to improve the properties around the dump to make them more workable for agriculture. Now you want to put a dump on land that was given to you, and that will certainly have a negative effect on all this work. Early in our marriage, my wife's uncle told me family is everything. This is no way to treat family. Thank you.
Thank you. Followed by Patrick Lindner, followed by Sherry Palmer.
My name is John Thorson. I'm a ranch owner here in Guadalupe County. I'd like to correct a couple of comments that were made by the engineering people. The EPA says, and it's published, that those liners will fail through mechanical damage or just natural deterioration. What we've got out there in Dar's Field will accelerate that deterioration. There's H2S, SO4, so it's not a good environment for polyurethane. To say, you've made a lot of comments about the liner will work, you're confident and all that kind of stuff. You shouldn't make those comments because you know it's going to fail. It'll fail mechanically. If you've seen pigs running around out there in North Creek, you'll understand. They'll cut through that plastic in the flash. Some of the comments, I think Steve made a couple of them, about cleaning up this stuff. If there's a leak, you don't clean it up. You can't. We both know that. There's no way you're going to pump that aquifer dry, put the water back in. It just doesn't happen. Once it's contaminated, it's done. It was also mentioned in, I think it was Senator Campbell's letter, where the Sunset Commission activities, TCEQ said that they would limit the landfill application process to 75 days and 2 NODs. We're now in the 800 days and 8 or 13, however many. I noticed they stopped numbering them. That's another issue. I would like to say the same thing should be applied to us, the public. You give us 30 days, we want 300. 10 times what you're offering. That's given what you're giving to Tom. Isn't it? I'll tell you, it was alluded to earlier. There's a lot of stuff floating around this thing that really stinks. I understand that a bunch of the cook, whatever, engineering firm or ex-TCEQ, is that correct? Well, okay, yeah, I know.
That's correct.
Okay. So you all used to work for TCEQ. Okay. How?
You've got to, at this point, you've got to make your formal comment for the TCEQ.
Okay.
Okay? That's how these comments, that's not clear to everybody. Those are the comments for the TCEQ.
Just
We'll answer them in writing.
One last question. Is the tape that was made earlier for public, is it a public record?
We are doing an audio recording of this meeting.
Yes.
And the formal portion of it will be posted on our website.
Yes.
The video, are you asking about the video?
The video that was made of the
That's
earlier
him
portion?
there. That is being done by the applicant, so.
Oh, yeah? So that's not a public record?
It's not part of the TCEQ proceeding. You could speak to them about that
Okay.
after the meeting.
All right, thank you.